Yo, what's up? It's your boy KINgjo. I wanted to come back and kind of talk to you guys a little bit about uh, just getting back into the music industry, going back into the entertainment field. As you guys know, the last 5 years, I took a break to kind of go back into doing doing some teaching in schools and different things like that. And it's funny now that I'm back doing this and trying to get it back into doing it full time and being a content creator and been a digital creator and a music producer and all those things and really stepping out on faith is interesting. The dynamic and a lot of times when we decide to step out on faith and do the calling that we feel that God has put on our life, that's when things are probably the scariest. That's when things are probably the most hostile in your life. And then especially when you're trying to do it differently, like you have your own style and you're trying to step out and not acquiesce to what's currently going on, but trying to really be led by your own creativity and your own art, your own artistic value, your own artistic way that you do things. Because everybody has a preconceived notion of how it's supposed to be done, right? The the people who are professionals, they have their pattern of how to get things done. Those who are not professionals think they have the pattern that how you should do things and how it should sound. And you always today in 2023, and I guess it's partly my fault because I was one of the ones that in social media started this back in 2006, 7, 8, 9, 10, where everybody's critiquing. Everybody has a critique on what you do and how you're trying to do things. And tonight, I was in the studio and I was listening to music, and I was listening to Pastor Mike, and he was giving his testimony on how he started doing music and how he started putting out music. And I want to tell you guys how I started doing it. In 2008, um, well, I started producing really at church. And when I got to college, I fell in love with it. I fell in love with producing. And I wasn't producing gospel. I actually started producing, even though I grew up in the church. My mom and dad was a pastor. My dad, I grew up in church all my life. Collegiate Church of God in Christ, strict. Some people say it's strict, but it's really not. But Collegiate Church of God in Christ. I grew up in church as a church musician. Y'all be trying to hate on church musicians. Have jokes, but as a church musician, that's really where I got a lot of my chops from, was playing in church. And if you notice, like a lot of kids, the ones that, especially the young men that stay in church, they normally get involved in playing in either music or either the technical side. So never stop the kids from getting involved in the music or the technical side of the church. I was privy because my dad, at the first church we attended, my dad was a deacon, and he used to go down and set up. So I was privy to go with him and set up the mics, make sure the sound was up, make sure the church was set up for worship. And that's how I got my introduction, not only into being a musician, but I got my introduction into production. That's how I got my introduction into sound and sound design and making sure things was in church. That's how a lot of us, if you really think about a lot of producers and engineers and stuff like that, a lot of us got our start in church. And being that I was in a progressive church and when I was growing up, it was a super progressive church. We had videography, we had recordings, we had cassettes. And my dad, being a session musician, a session guitar player in studio, and I didn't know that he was a DJ in the army, but he kind of said he spent records in the army, which is cool. So my dad being a musician, a session musician, and playing on an album or two, and what I'm saying, doing that thing, it was always in me. My mother, when she was coming up, she sung in a little. They had a little group. They thought it was the Supremes when she was coming up. But my mother also was very musical, and them being involved, me going with my pops every Sunday. What I'm saying, every Sunday morning, just about we was getting up, 52 weeks a year, and going to church and setting up the sound, making sure the sound was good. And then also afterwards, being a part of a church that early on was believed in having cassette tape ministries, believed in having video cassette ministries, believed in sharing and producing live video and cassette. That was a blessing in the start into me getting into music production, right? And another cool thing was I was always anointed to do it, right? So even when I started playing drum as a child, as a baby. I was anointed. My name is King David because my dad wanted a musician. So even at the womb, I was anointed to be a musician. Right? But then when I got in church, got older, every instrument I went to, drums, trumpet, baritone, piano, any of the seven, I always got oil put on me, and I was always anointed to play those instruments, right? And that was always God doing certain things in my life, right? And doing certain things in my life. So that early foundation was funny. It was funny because I started in the church, and I think, but when I really got into doing music production, as I actually was in the world, it was at Savannah State University. It was downstairs at Peacock Hall, and I used to make beats at Peacock Hall. I had some guys, Dominique, some guys that I work with, and I used to make beats. And y'all know, when you're at college and you're making beats in college, and some of the guys, some friends on Facebook, they know this. They know this story. Like, I used to get picked on forever. That's why the jokes and stuff on Facebook don't really bother me. Because if you grew up in Dublin High School, you had to have jokes. You had to have tough skin. You know what I'm saying? Because you walked the classroom, everybody had jokes, and you had to be able to crack back. You couldn't just take it. You had to crack back quick. So by the time I got to college, man, shoot, the crackbacks was coming. The cracks was coming. You had to be able to crack back and talk noise with the best of them. Now, I wasn't as good as the kids from the Bingham, from Jacksonville. Now, the cats from Florida, they always had the best. They always had the best talk. They thought they had the best talk, and you let them know they had the best talk coming from the Bingham, from Florida. But it was you always had to kind of do that. And even in my family, man, we crack a lot of jokes in our family, and we're always at each other in a fun, loving way. But you got to have tough skin. You get over there and get sensitive, get your feelings hurt. But yeah, even then, when I started making beats at Peacock Hall, it was a challenge then because I actually started making beats because of heartbreak. Well, first it was fun. Then it was heartbreaking. After I was in a real bad relationship, I literally would get up and make beats every night. Every night. In 216 on 216 Florida, the 216 Peacock Hall, every night I'd be in that room making beats. Every night. Every night. And when I first started, I was trash. I had a Yamaha DJX. I was trash. And the thing about football, being in the football door and playing on the football team, especially during the off season, the football team definitely was real, and they'll tell you, hey, that's trash, bro. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't no love. It wasn't no love. It was like, yo, that's trash. Like, that's tragic. Like, I don't know what you making. Like, that ain't it. And I always had a different sound even then. You know what I'm saying? And because like when you come from Georgia or New York or different sometimes, and I hear it now in New York, they always be like, well, it doesn't sound like New York, right? But which is hilariously funny to me. But those things and the way those things really it capulate and it really those things happen is really a phenomenon within itself that locally people want you to stay locally. But I never really was a huge fan of a lot of the local. I grew up in church, so a lot of the local hip hop or a lot of the hip hop from the South, I didn't really it didn't really resonate with me like Virginia, you know what I'm saying, East Coast Virginia, you know what I'm saying, West Coast Dre, stuff like that, because it's a lot more musical, right? And only the groups, the cats I like from the South was like, So Def. It's very musical with their musicality. And anyway, just, I will always gravitate to more East Coast. More East Coast. And a lot of my family is from Philly, so I guess that's why too. So, but always having a different sound was always an issue that I had. Because people want me to do down south. And I used to begrudgingly make South music. I remember the first music that the guys in the dorm really jumped on was a soft track. And the track was hard, but I just didn't like it. I was just like, yeah, it's cool. I get why y'all like it. Everything cool is it, but I didn't like the track because it was a southern track. It was what everybody was like wanting, and I was like, yeah, I could be hot without being a southern track, without it being I used to call it 3 6 Mafia or you know what I'm saying, or anything like that. Without being that type of track, without having that bounce, I still can make a hard track. Even when I got back home and I left college and I got back home and I started producing um, for Gillette's son with Jesse Dixon. Shout out Jesse Dixon because he was really the first person that I saw. No, Solomon Edmonds the first person I saw actually do production with a keyboard. He's the first person I saw perform totally off of. I never forget the song. I never forget the song. The song's called "Keep Your Dress Down." It was at church. It was a R&B hip hop. So it was the first time. It wasn't the first time I had rap at church, but it was like to see it live and somebody actually performing it live in church with a synthesizer and all the vocals on the synthesizer. It was crazy. I was mind blown. Like I was like, I could do it all by myself. You know what I'm saying? So that was my first time actually seeing somebody get up and perform a track and not have the band because we had a big old band in our church. But he didn't use the band. He just had the track and the track ran through the hit. And it's so hard. I was like, yo, that's crazy. And the song was called Keep Your Dress Down. Keep Your Dress Down. So it was actually a relationship song in church. And this is the 80s. This was the 90s. This is in the 80s. This is in the 80s. And that's crazy. So a lot of people wonder why when I do Christian music, that is very urban and it's very, it's not traditional. My minister of music in the 80s, Solomon Edmond, different ones, wasn't a traditional minister of music. Like he was a recording artist. He was the Stevie Wonder of our era. You know, he had the glasses, and shades. You know what I'm saying? He was the Stevie Wonder of our era. So a lot of times when I did music in the 80s and stuff like that, that's what I grew up on. I grew up on Christian gospel being urban, not really being traditional. Like we didn't really listen to James Cleveland like that in our household. We listened more to uh, a Clark Sisters record, a commission album, and those things. That's what I grew up on. I didn't grow up on like the more traditional hymns. Even when we was in church, we were singing, uh, uh, you know, more praise and worship style songs there. But when we moved to a different church, I started getting more back into more of the quartet thing. My dad was always a quartet guy. I wasn't really a quartet guy like that. But once we moved to a different church, and I moved from playing drums and trumpet because they had a drum player. They had that, and I was like, yo, I want to try keys, and I moved to playing the piano. It was interesting, like to go back to the dynamic, and I would be one of the ones. I was the young guy. I would push for us to sing the Kurt Franklin's. What you looking for? They would not sing Stomp at the church that I went to. They would not sing Stomp. It was over with. Never. No. The closest they would let us sing Kurt Franklin was What You Looking For in Melodies from Heaven. I think we did What You Looking For like 3-4 times. But they will let us sing Melodies from Heaven. But Stomp, oh God. Silver and Gold, yes. Stomp, no, never. But that was my upbringing. It was more urban gospel, more contemporary gospel, Christian hip hop. At the time, it wasn't called Christian hip hop; it was called holy hip hop. Holy hip hop, and that was more of my upbringing. You know what I'm saying? I would listen to Grape Tree. I didn't like Grape Tree. I thought it was kind of a throw off of Master P and No Limit. But I would listen to him. I would listen to Cross the Movement. Cross the Movement. I was like, okay, when they kind of emulate Wu-Tang a little bit, but they got Bible. You know what I'm saying? So I would listen to Cross the Movement. That was my people. You know what I'm saying? Like that was my go-to. Like I would listen to, if I wanted lyrical, I listen to Cross the Movement. If I wanted kind of like a more southern bounce to it, I listen to Grape Tree. I listen to Mike E. Just different cats that I would hear that had an urban sound. We would actually go out and look for them. We'd look for Out of Eaton. I didn't like DC Talk. I thought DC Talk was kind of whack. But we'll look for Out of Eaton. We'll look for Virtue. We'll look for artists at the time, Men of Standard and different commission, of course, Clark Sisters, of course. They always kept it rocking. We always look for these artists that had a more urban sound that I was used to because I was young. Fast forward, 2008, I started doing music. I started 2008. I got fired from a job doing cable, and when I got home, my mom was like, "Listen, son, you keep you keep getting fired from these jobs." She's like, why don't you just start your own? You know what I'm saying? And I got a fly that's flying around that's bothering me. Why don't you just start your own? Like, start your own joint. Like, why don't you just do it? What do you think God has called you to do? And at that time, I was playing, and I think I just started playing in the band One Sound. I started playing in the band One Sound and messing around a little bit with production. And before then, like I said, in college, I actually started producing hip hop. I actually started producing, you know, I would produce rap and R&B. We would actually go and try to get the DJs to spin all the records. We had CDs back then. We actually my first production was on a cassette tape, and it's like Hole in the Wall or something like that. But it was on a cassette. So we would go rap, and we had a cassette. We let cats hear the rap, and we had a song called "The New Breed" and different stuff like that. And that's kind of how I got my start in Savannah, at Savannah State, doing beats and stuff like that. That's how I got started really doing production. Really. Then I never forget. We came home one Christmas, and my sister, who also does music, she was at Howard University, and she was working with this guy, and she brought home an 8 track. And when she brought home the 8 track, it was crazy. Now I'm gonna chop this video up to make it shorter, so I'm just taking my time now. She brought home an 8 track, and when she brought home the 8 track, it was crazy, and I never forget using it, and I loved it because we could do everything ourselves. And this is before I got the computer. We could do everything ourselves. And when she brought the 8 track home, we did this Christmas song, and the Christmas song was like real easy. Let's see if I can play it. I don't even know if I remember. Let me see. What was it? Joy to the World, I think it was. And I rearranged it and it. So in rearranging it, I think we it was dope. And then we did like a little Kurt Franklin. I'll never forget, we put like a little Kurt Franklin at the end. And we went to, where did we go? We performed it at our church for Christmas. And the response was so crazy that it was just like, like it was wild just to actually get that and to be able to record something in church. And that was really, because that was really like one of the first times that in church I was able uh to have an arrangement in church, because like I said before, everything I had did before then was like was really was hip hop. Was hip hop and real hip hop. Not even like Christian hip hop. It was hip hop. It was like what are some you had jokes called "Hit It from the Backside." So it wasn't nothing saved about that. It wasn't nothing saved about that. It was all hip hop. And I think that's for doing that record there at our church um was kind of phenomenal, and really got me going and say, okay, I can do the Christian. And I always wanted to do the Christian. I always wanted to do uh, church and gospel music, but my start was hip hop. And we did so I arranged it, and I was like so I did like I came and at the end we made it real pretty. I did the tracks on there and everything, and I did it on the DJs, a little small Yamaha DJs. Make a long story short, and then the crazy is like hey, yeah. So the end was we kind of went and did we kind of took it the Kurt Franklin route at the end when we did the track, but that was my first time doing the a Christian track. Fast forward, I came home and I was going through a lot. Like I said, I got in a real bad relationship. I was going through a lot, and when I came home, I found this program called Morpheus, and in Morpheus, we it was it was a download. Morpheus was a software download, kind of like Napster, where you could download. Napster, you could download music, but Morpheus took it to the next level where you could download software and programs. And I found this software called Cubase 5, and in Cubase 5, we went ahead and did. I downloaded it, and that was my first time working in DAW. This is Cubase VST5, not Cubase 5, but VST5. That's my first time working in DAW, and when we worked in DAW, it was really cool um, to be able to do all those things myself. Now, I didn't know I was going through depression at the time. I was dealing with depression, but that was my way of coming back. So I did like this whole record, like 20 something songs, where every day I would get up and go record. And then finally, my dad was kicked me out of the house. I was like, yo, you need to go get your job. He kicked me out of the house and said, you need to go get a job. And I would have got a job, start working. And I ran into my brother at Terrence Thomas. First, yeah, Terrence Thomas invited me to a concert. Shout out to my brother Terrence. He invited me to a concert at Macedonia in Neil Dixon, an outside concert. And so I had this record. Um, oh, Spirit of me. That was the record that I did at Macedonia. And the guy, one of the guys that was performing was named Antoine Hamrick. And Antoine Hamrick was there, and I was like, yo, I got this song. I had it on CD. I'm going to do background. I want you to come. I said, man, come jump on it with me, man. You got that Fred Hammond sound. I remember he could sing because we sung in Voice of the Joy together. And we went to high school for a minute, but he left on the west side. I stayed in Dublin. I'm like, man, I know you can sing. Come jump on it with me, right? And I want to talk about the group that you was in, Antoine, but I ain't gonna do it. I did the post before, and everybody laughed. I ain't gonna do it. But he came and he freestyled on the record, and I was like, yo, you killed that. That's kind of dope. And he freestyled on the record. He was working with another guy at the time, and I was like, yo, we should link, man. We should link up. I was like, I'm really not a singer. I'm more of a producer. I was like, but I do my little thing. I cut up a little bit in the studio, trying to make it sound right. And he was like, all right, cool. So we linked up and we just started working. It became history. We did this. I think we did this record. And I will put the video because it's good to go back. And I'm not gonna go back a lot because I believe also moving forward. And sometimes we look too far back when we do something. But we did this record, and the record was "Love." Your love. And when we did that record, that was like a real. And then that really, he allowed me. And I'm always gonna thank Antoine because he allowed me to really um, to, hone my skills. And he always showed love. Him and his wife Tamika, they always show love to us, and they really allowed me to hone my skills as a producer. Because in my area, it wasn't a whole lot of people like it is now. Like this guy, everybody trying to do music in my area now, but it wasn't a whole lot of people in my area that was doing music at that time, especially gospel music. And then we became Kindred Souls because he also like Christian hip hop and urban gospel. He grew up on commission, he grew up on Winans, he grew up all that stuff. So we was like, yo, we had so much in common. It was easy for us to work in music because we kind of was like doing it. We was like on the same thing, and once we linked, man, it was over. I got fired from another job, and when I got fired from the other job, I get fired a lot. I got fired from this other job. When I got fired from the other job, my mother asked me. She said, "King, what do you? I don't think you need to work for anybody." He said, "I don't think you need to work for God." So, what do you feel like God has called you to do? I was like, "Well, God has called me to do this music." You know what I'm saying? So she's like, "All right, cool." So I was playing in the band, and just like everything else, anything you have, the band had some disagreements and some fallouts in different bands. And after being a part of a couple of bands, she was just like, "Yo, like, maybe you should let the bands go." You know what I'm saying? And it's just like, all right, well, I kind of get what you're saying. And she's like, you should start your own band. And I said, yeah, but the best players are already in bands. You know, so they're already in bands. So she's like, but well, I mean, get your crew and just start. So I got with Antoine, and Antoine, we really worked, and we started something. And a dream, I had a dream. The name Jehovian came up, and when I looked it up 3 years later, I found out it meant godlike. And by that time, we had already said we was Jehovian. That was the label. That was what we were. And we did the record, and we did Welcome to Canaan, which was Canaan's first record. That was my first official release, which was a gospel record. And we had like a little miniature tour that we did the Southeast. And secondly, we came up, then we linked up with Pastor Carlos Jones, my other brother, and me, him, and Canaan started a group called BIG. And where we worked and we linked up with other artists and producers, because I've never been one to like only want to be the only guy doing something. I always felt like collaboration was great, But I have a certain way that I y'all know me. I'm king, so I always feel like my way is the best way. You know what I'm saying? Not as always right, but I just feel like my way is the best way. I have the anointing and calling to do it, so my way is the best way. A lot of people get thrown off by that, and whatever. That's fine, and but I refuse to let people dictate the greatness and success of what we was going to do. So, people said I couldn't do it because I didn't have the studio. We didn't have the big HD rig. Man, we was recording on a Behringer. We was recording on a Behringer mixer, small mic. I think $100 mic. You know what I'm saying? A Sony Vaio, burgundy Sony Vaio. If you're Jehovah, you know what I'm talking about. If you was at the beginning, you know exactly what I'm talking about. We had the little Behringer mixer with the little audio interface that ran, the little small USB audio interface that ran from the 2-track. And it was cool. Like, we made it work. We did albums off of that. We did 2 albums. We did BIG, the first BIG album, which was crazy. Like, that album was crazy because that was the first time when we did that record. That was the first time outside of Canaan got some stuff, but that's the first time outside of Dublin I started hearing our music, my music that I would create. And when we did Jesus Music and remix that we kind of took from Lecrae, and we did some other records, some big records. BIG was that thing where people like, I never forget the release party. We was making history in Dublin, and people's going like, dang, these are 3 ministers and they rapping. I never get people like, it's 3 ministers and they rapping. They ain't singing. They ain't no quartet group. They rappers. And they're perplexed us because it's like 2010. You know what I'm saying? And so it's perplexed, but also like, shout out to the South. We was getting like very great reviews from websites. Yeah, websites is way back in 2010, y'all. So it's not a new thing. So we was getting great reviews and stuff like that, and it was really cool. I think the thing that stopped a lot of that was the fact that we had a pastor, and his first responsibility was the church, not the group. If you're a pastor, his ultimate responsibility was his flock. And even as much as we want to go and tour and do different stuff and do shows and stuff like that, he had a responsibility to his flock and his family. So when you're a pastor, a lot of people diss pastors and stuff like that. And we're gonna talk about that tomorrow a little bit about positivity. A lot of people diss pastors and get on pastor board. If you really think about pastors and stuff like that, they have a responsibility to their families, the God, their families, themselves, and to the flock, the church. You know what I'm saying? So it's a lot of responsibilities that these guys, that pastors have. And I think with that, and Carlos Jones got Pastor Jones, I got a verse with Carlos Jones. That joint is so ill. It's so crazy. Like, he is going in. I would have re-recorded to clean it a little bit, but it's a verse, and oh man, it's phenomenal. It's one of the best verses I've heard, in a while, a long time, and it's a phenomenal. I have a verse. I've been holding on to it, but Pastor Jones has a verse. It's a verse, and I'm talking about he spits from point where when you hear his voice, I'm talking about straight for about 35, 40 seconds. It's just bar after bar after bar, bar. And you hear me in the back. I'm going, go. And the verse is so crazy. But Pastor Jones comes out, and I think that was an issue. And then we had families and different stuff going on. I was the only single one. Both of them and Antoine were Pastor Lord were both married at the time. I was on the single one. So to go from there, then we did Next Gen. When next we went from there, and then I started looking at artists because the one thing I found out was you could be a production company. Let me teach you something. You could be a production company all day, right? You're a production company if you can produce something, be it a single, be it a MP3, a wave, a CD. If you can produce something that you can sell or you can get profit from, you can call yourself a production company. Doesn't matter if it's clothing, doesn't matter if it's food, whatever. You're a production company. So when we went to go do research and did a lot of studying on doing music and music, getting it within the industry, I had to find out that hey, we couldn't really call ourselves a label because we could produce it, we could create it, we could make it, we could produce it, but we couldn't distribute it. So if you don't have distribution, we couldn't distribute it. So in 2011, 10 or 11, no, 2010, 2009, 2009, 2010, we were looking at distribution. And I had this artist that he's always been he don't know it. And I probably should tell him that, hey man, I think I did. Maybe I did. But it's this artist, and he's always been like somebody that like I would pay attention to because he was doing the indie thing also. He's in Augusta. I'm not gonna call his name, but he's in Augusta, and I noticed that he had gotten into Walmart and different areas like that, and he had gotten into Walmart and different things like that, and in the store. And I was like, dang, how did he get the distribution in Walmart? Blah, 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 blah. So I went and looked at the back of the CD when he was in Walmart. I bought the CD, and I looked at the back of the CD, and I tried to see, well, who's this distributor? And I think I had a conversation with him, and he told me. And we called to try to get the distribution, and it was like it was not in my budget. It was like $5,000-$6,000 to distribute that record through Walmart and all those things. And it was not in my budget. At that time, I just didn't have it. And so I was like, man, I guess we'd just be a production company. So we just said, Jehovah, you want time to do productions. Make a long story short, we couldn't make those records. You could produce it, but if you can't distribute the records, you can't call yourself a label. You're just, a production company. And I always said this too. I felt like a lot of times people were being disingenuous. They'd be like, well, we got a label, and you're like, well, where y'all record it? We don't know. Or where's it based at? We don't have one. Blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, well, where's your paperwork? You don't know. Did y'all with the business bureau? Did y'all sign? Did y'all get something from the Secretary of the State? Is your music copywritten? Is it published? Is it all those things that a label does? Are you doing it, or are you just creating music? And you'd be surprised how many people have been taken advantage of because they didn't know the business side of the industry of being a label, and how many times DJs, record pools, and other people will come and say, okay, well, have you done this? I remember we used to send records out to radio stations. We would call radio stations and send records out to radio stations. I'm going to start doing it again, though. We would call radio stations and send the records out to radio stations, and people, they would ask, okay, well, who's your label? Who you're under? I've had people hang up in my face. You know what I'm saying? Oh, nah, man. What's your label? Well, we're a production company. Oh yeah. Well, when you get a label, man, holler back at me. You know what I'm saying? I had people hang up in my face. I had people say, oh, email us this. This is the time that this is the time during this is the time during emails are starting to get popular. You used to have to mail in CDs to the radio station to get them to play it. So I've been through all those stuff, and then the more that I would listen and get turned down, and people, what would happen though, and I think because it's in gospel, and a lot of gospel radio DJs found favor with me, even to the day they do. They found favor with me, and I bless God for you guys. I love you guys. They found favor. They would tell me little tidbits. All right, Mr. Jordan, you need to do this. You need to get this. You need to do this. Blah, 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 blah. Like, yo, you gotta, that ain't how you do it. You need to do this, this. And I would listen. I'd be like, all right, cool. And then I go back and do research on the internet, what a lot of you guys have just started to do now in 2020. 2023. Yeah, we was doing that in 2013. All right, 2010, 2011, 2012, 2009. We was looking on YouTube and say, okay, well, how did we be a label? I would buy magazines and go into mix magazines and record magazines and read the articles where they talked about labels, and I'll cut them out and have them and just go over them all the time, like have the stuff. I'll buy books, record labels for dummies. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, all those things I would do a study to get there to understand what we need to do. And I understood that, you had to have your 4 business product. You had to have, that was actually in school. I learned that in business class. Your 4 P's. You know what I'm saying? You got to have product, price, placement, and promotion. So those things we started learning and we started developing, and I started trying to build a team around that. The cool thing was the music was always there. It's just that at times the execution was meaning like the mixes wasn't there or the masters wasn't there. And a lot of that was just because we were figuring it out on our own. I didn't have, because I'm in Dublin, Georgia. Like I said, once Jesse closed on his studio, we didn't have people I can go run to and say, hey, how do y'all do? You know what I'm saying? We just had to go through trial and error and just see like, all right, cool. This may work, this don't work. Messed up on that one. I never forget. Okay, Welcome to Canaan. One of the tracks that I hate to this day is Rockstar. Beautiful track. That's it. We went out to South Carolina, and that was the one time we had a gospel quartet legend get up, and we rocked that. Kanan went down. Me, Kanan, I think Ella was with me. Maybe Kanan's wife was with us. And we went down there, and that the night before, we went to the Truth concert the next night. And we went down there, and we had one of the gospel legends say, man, I never thought I'd say I was a rock star. But we rocked that thing to the core. But if you ever hear because I had remixed it by then. But if you hear the album version of it, I trashed it. To this day, I hate that mix. I trashed that mix, but that's some of the mistakes that we made. Another one I did on this, I did the same thing on Next Gen with this song called Bad Boys. And I told DJ Jesus Beats when me and Beats was live this week, I said DJ Beats. And I didn't say Jesus Beats. I was like, oh my God. And the mix was horrendous. The track is crazy. I may release the track, re-release the track this week. But the track was fantastic. Lil Truth, Kanan, they killed it. You know what I'm saying? The track, I love that track to this day. It had that, I kind of found a sample, kind of like the, with Levy Binghamton on from Shine, Bad Boy. And that was the name of the record. It was like Bad Boys. It's like the Christian Bad Boys. And I found a sample that kind of sounded like, what's his name? Harrington Levy. And we did that sample on that, and now it's crazy. I might re-release that. I supposed to re-release next year anyway, but I messed that bitch up. I messed it up. It was trash. But we made a lot of mistakes during trial and error. King, why are you taking all this time? You've been live for 50 minutes. No, 38 minutes. I'm doing good. For 30, you've been live for 40 minutes. And why are you taking us through this, your history and all this stuff? It's because even at the height in 2011, when I was producing your gospel choice in the southern region, it was trials. My mom died, right? Even when Next Gen dropped 2012 and is still today, we have records that's spinning on radio across America. It was trials. The next year, my dad died. You know what I'm saying? It was a lot of trials and tribulations going through that. And the thing is, the industry doesn't wait for you to recuperate, right? It's like, all right, they'll give you a while. They'll show love, they'll do all that, but then when it's time, you need the product, you need to stay on it. You know what I'm saying? And at that time, I was dealing with the death of my mom, and I really didn't have time to mourn because 2011, 2010, 2011, after she died, One Man, One Sign was out. 2012, we were dropping Next Gen. And Next Gen, the compilation was like it for Jehovian. You know what I'm saying? And I never had a chance to like really mourn her. You know what I'm saying? I kind of threw myself into the music, threw myself into the production. Even when we finished Next Gen, it came out with Next Gen, and it was a success, and people were really proud of it. I could tell the community got behind us, and the churches got behind us, and we had a whole bunch of young people doing something that hadn't, on that level in our area, in Middle Georgia, hadn't been done. It still was. I still had, you know, a lot I was going through. You know what I'm saying? And some of the decisions I made during that time was no excuses. These are excuses, but you can tell if you made a decision if it's valid or not. But I tell people all the time, so, yeah, it's an excuse. But you let know if the excuse is valid or not. It's up to you if it's valid or not. But this excuse during those times, a lot of decisions I made was based upon the fact that I was going through pain and hurt and trials and tribulation. And it really wasn't until about 2017, 2018 that I started healing from it. I'll never forget. Joy Jenkins said, man, I was doing something. She's like, I think I had let her hear Deadline. And she's like, cool, but it's time for you to stop mourning your mother. I was like, stop mourning my mother. Are you crazy? Never. And she's like, no, it's time for you. It's time for you to move on. It's time for you. But by that time, 2015, I shut everything down. Because when my dad died, I had to take care of John. I had to do all this stuff was shut down. I didn't want to do no production. I didn't want to do no music. I didn't want to do no DJing. I was like, I'm over it. But this is the crazy thing. The only person that kept me doing it is Paul Reynolds. He wasn't gospel. He wasn't church. He was an R&B guy. He's godly. He's a man of God. But he was doing R&B and hip hop. And that's why I work with him to this day. Because he wouldn't let me stop. He wouldn't take those excuses of, oh man, I'm mourning, blah, blah, blah. Nah, King, that's cool. We still gonna do records. And I love him to this day. That's my brother to this day. Because it helped me stay from GA with Love. That was a hard record. I'm talking about we worked on that record forever. That was a hard record. Then we come back and we did, but by the time we got to Paradise Lost, man, I was in my zone then. Like, I knew what I was doing then. So, and then to kind of take a fall back because when you stop, and this is what I was telling my wife recently, that's why my man Henny, I'm glad my man Henny came up. When we stopped, you have to get in shape doing music. Like, people be like, oh, I can stop when I just get back and start rapping. Blah, 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 I'm good. Like, I never left. Nah, it's not how it is. Oh, I can stop. I can stay producing. They come back and just stop back producing. Like, I never left. Nah, it's not how it is. You have to get in shape. These guys that are good at production, they do it all the time. Every day that's not. Now a lot of them are starting to say that's not my 9 to 5. They do it 5 days a week, 6 days a week, and they have off days. They're not just like jumping up and saying, oh, I took a 9-year hiatus and I'm coming back now and do music. And that's why your joint sounds like it sounds. Like, it takes time to get back in shape to get to where you need to be in production, to get where you need to do in music and writing, to get where you need to do as an instrumentalist, as everything. It takes time. It takes effort. And it takes time to get in shape. A lot of people don't want to put the effort in. They just want to get up and say, hey, I do this because so-and-so, they only did music. Their first record blew. Waka Flocka first record was a hit. Bro, you know how much of an anomaly that is? Do you know how many millions of people do music and never have a hit? Ever? Right? Do you know how many people have made records and never had commercial success? Never. I've had 18 songs. No, now we got up to 20. I have 18 to 20 songs right now, and I'm proud of that. Like, people be wanting you to dish your legacy. Like, no, nigga, like, this is what I did. I had 18 to 20 songs that made radio rotations. Right? 18 to 20 that had radio rotations. Right? It took a lot of work for me every night from Peacock in 2003, 2001, 2002 till 2013, 14, pretty much 3, 4, 5 times a week, I was making music. Either I was playing at church, I was in my home studio making beats and producing stuff. This stuff just didn't pop up like, oh, I'm good now. No, I was working at my craft, putting the time in. You guys got to work at your craft and put the time in. And then also, nice transition. And then also you have to ignore the people that just want to jump in and just jump out. Oh man, now I feel like it's time for me to do music. Like, no, you haven't been doing it for a while. I'm gonna carry you. As a producer, I'm going to carry you. You have not been singing. When you been singing? When have you been writing? What have you done to get in shape? Like, what have you done to be? Because I'm putting the work in every night, so somebody's gonna be carried. You guys stop working with people to just show up and ain't put the work in. Oh man, I got this verse, I got this song, and it may be a hit, but at the end of the day, bro, you ain't put the work in. I'm probably gonna carry you with the beat. Or it's gonna sound like somebody else that's already out. And that's cool. That's the era we live. We live in the era where everybody can go to YouTube and copy somebody. Right? They can go to YouTube and copy it. Nobody has to really study to figure it out. And YouTube has always been like, I tell people all the time, Google and YouTube has always been like my go-to. Don't get it twisted. Google and YouTube has always been my go-to. But what I try to do is always make it my own. Even with Harley Quinn. Harley Quinn is a drill and B record. But if you listen to it, I try to make it super musical. And if you listen to it, I try to make it my own style where it sounds like King. Even though I'm emulating the Go Shawty, it's your birthday. We're gonna party like it's your. I just thought that was cool to put it in there. That was the last thing I put in the record. And that's why I sung over it. Because I didn't want it to sound exactly like 50 Cent or what's his name? Oh God bless his soul. I can't think of his name right now, but it'll come to me in a second. But yeah, if people not putting the work in and not putting the same amount of work in you're doing it, like you have to do this. Charge them a fair fee to you. Right? Don't give them no hookup. Don't give them any hookup. Don't be like, oh man, I'm gonna hook you up because you're my boy. No. If they have not put the work in, if you're a producer and you've been working and you've been making beats every night, you've been making beats 4 or 5 times a week, you get off work, you come back and make a beat. You get out, you go, you take care of your family, you get back in the studio, you go make a beat. You go to church, you come home, you make a beat. You go to school, you come home, you make a beat. You're consistently grinding, getting better at your craft. And then you have a rapper that comes in that doesn't rap. Only raps once in a while. Don't let them jokers in your studio. Because it's not going to be even. The energy ain't going to be there. The energy ain't going to be there. You're going to carry them. The beat's going to be hard. And they're going to put up some crap on as the verse. And you're going to carry them. And then they're going to try to marginalize you and your beat. Because they're not going to pay you what you deserve. And they're not going to make sure the paperwork is right to what it should be. Why? Because you don't have your business together. I had an artist reach out to me recently. He's like, man, I want to work with a beat, man. And he's like, so-and-so, they said they're going to give me this. They're going to give me 8 beats for $100. 8 beats for $100. And let me rap on it. I was like, dude, that sounds like a fantastic deal. You should jump on that. He's like, no, but I'm trying to work with you. I said, man, I'm significantly more expensive. I'm like, you'll never get 8 beats for $100 from me. You won't get 1 beat for $100 from me. Unless Lord say it. Unless it's like I feel like, okay, cool. I'm trying to work with you, or, you know what I'm saying, I'm trying to get you to do certain things. 8 beats for $100? Never. Ever. I stopped that. I've never charged less than $200 for a track in my whole career. What the crap make you think I'm gonna come back and give you 8 beats for $100? That's doggone, boy. Stop. Oh, that's 8 beats for $100. Listen, man, $100 you gonna get a loop. It's gonna be like an 8-bar loop. It ain't gonna be no edits. It's gonna be a loop. It ain't gonna be no edits. It ain't gonna be no drops, no side effects. It's gonna be like 4 tracks, maybe 4 tracks in the loop, 16-track loop. It's gonna be do. I'm gonna drop something out for the verse, bring it back in for the chorus, drop it out for the verse again, bring it back in for the chorus. That's all I'm giving you. That's it. It's gonna be the bare minimum. $100? No way. But you know why? Because they spent 5 minutes on it. Well, and I know what you're about to say. I know somebody spent 5 minutes and they made a hit. That's fine. Once again, That's an anomaly. That's an anomaly. That's not the norm. That's not the norm. If y'all knew how much work Beyonce, if y'all knew how much work Dr. Dre, if y'all knew how much work Jay-Z, if y'all knew how much work Lil Durk, if y'all knew how much work NBA Youngboy, them guys put in their music, if y'all knew how much work Kurt, if y'all knew how much work Kiara Sheard, come on, man. Kiara Sheard has one of the greatest producers of our time, and J. Drew Jr. Like, we don't give J. Drew his props. J. Drew Jr. is an amazing producer. And this is the thing. When you make beats and you produce, you spend significantly more time on the song than the artist does. 9 times out of 10. Because guess what? They come, they drop their verse, and they go. You got to sit there and live with it. Make sure you put the drops in it. If you want to make it hot, you're going to come back and live with it. Make sure it's mixed right. If you're mixing and mastering it yourself, you're gonna make sure the drops are where it need to be. You're gonna make sure they're on time. And if you're recording and engineering yourself, you gotta record and make sure they're on time. You're putting more work in it than the artist is. By far. By far. By far. By far. By far. I've yet, listen to me now, I've yet worked with an artist that put in more work than I did. Yet, on any song. Any song. I've yet worked with an artist that put in more work on any song than I did. As the producer, if I engineered it, if I did anything, I'm talking about 0%. Never. So as a producer, if you care about your stuff and you care about your music, I ain't talking about beat makers. It's the difference between beat making and producing. I ain't talking about beat makers. If you're a beat maker, yeah, you throw in the beat, they jumped on it, or they recorded it, or they might, okay, you made the beat, they recorded it, and you just, did the rough mix and threw it out there. That's different. You still spent more time because you did a rough mix. You still spent more time than the artist did. Or if you just gave them the beat and the artist went and recorded themselves and engineered themselves. Yeah, I'm talking about as a producer of a record, to making sure that it's executive produced to the completion. I have yet to have an artist spend more time on a record than I have. Never. They may live with the record, but I'm talking about actually editing and putting more time on the record than me. 0%. 0%. And that stuff costs time. That costs money. Time is money. Because time is the most expensive luxury that we have. That we don't have, really. You can get more money. You can't get more time. When the angel stands on the land and says times is up, it's up, y'all. I don't know why I went way left. Where I'm at. 15 minutes. I got 8 minutes. All right. So, but after all that went down, now I left. 2019, I decided I want to do something. Well, 2018, I got married. I did a record for my wife and myself called Unity, I think it's called. I'm sorry, baby. If I got it wrong, I think it's called Unity, right? I think it's Unity, which is crazy because I recorded that in like a week, put it up, and it was actually released. It was actually out that Friday night during my my bachelor party. We didn't go out. We went upstairs in the church, in the sound room, and we mixed the record. That was my bachelor party. We had a blast. We had so much fun. Me and my best man and guys, we had so much fun. We mixed the record. And I didn't think it was come out, but when we got to the reception, the record was out, and the DJ played the record for us to be able to walk into. You know what I'm saying? And that was like, for me, that was the dopest moment for me, because I created something that was actually coming in on our reception to music that I produced and I wrote and I recorded in a week. You know what I'm saying? So it was really dope to do that. So we did that. And then in 2019, I released a compilation of just music. It wasn't a lot of lyrics. It was just really just me being creative as a musician. I was calling myself composer, King Jordan then. So it was just a lot of compositions of records that came out in 2019. So from 2019, also before that, we did Paradise Lost with John Paul. And that's I feel like that's some of my best work. If y'all haven't go sit and heard that record, go listen to that record. Paradise Lost is some of my best work I've ever created. I did every single production on that joint. Every note on that joint is me. Right? I love that record. Then we came back and we did criminal. We started criminal de crime, and had this idea for criminal de crime, the cream of the crop, because I had dispelled Jehovian. A lot of artists have the artists that wanted they were in their feelings, and I get it. I understood. I took the brunt of that, and I never really spoke on why I did it. But until recently, and I started telling people like, "Yo, y'all do know I went in the hole like thousands and thousands of dollars, investing in you guys." You see? And that's what we get to here at 55 minutes. I went in the hole thousands and thousands of dollars invested in these artists. You know what I'm saying? And and they still had a right to feel a certain type of way. It still was a right for them to do it. Um, but that's what happened. Thousands and thousands of time, effort, and money invested in those guys. And it just got too much where it's like, man, I was gonna go under psychologically, financially, spiritually. I was gonna go under, and I needed to get away from that. I needed to say, okay, this is it. And I did it abruptly because if I didn't, man, it was gonna be over with. I was gonna break down. And I stepped away from music. I would do little tidbits to kind of, say I'm gonna get back into it, but I really stepped away from it. And then right before the pandemic, and I'm documenting this. This is gonna be crazy because I know years from now, hopefully, they're gonna look back at this video and be like, "Yo, this is what was going through his mind when he started doing this." Right before the pandemic, I started working with Pastor Carlos Jones and D Lord. We actually got some time, and we started working on a new Big album, and we worked on it. I had a lot going on. I do. I have a lot going on. So we worked on it, but I had some issues still um, going on about some circumstances and stuff. And that album, Carlos and Antoine has done completely their job on the record. I haven't done my job on it. I haven't put no verses on there in it hardly. Um, I still work on it. It's kind of done. It's kind of done. I'm remixing it, kind of, sort of. I can release it like any day, but I can release it like any day. I really can release the Big record, but I'm really the hold up on it now. At one point in time, I felt like they were guys. I feel like Carlos and Antoine were, but now it's definitely me. Now that was definitely me at the end. So I kept that one, and I'm glad I did. I released Deadline, which was huge success, which was like, yo, that's crazy. And then last year, I released Chasing Ghosts, and Chasing Ghosts was pretty much that was the one for my mother and father where I was just like, okay, cool, I got it out my system. I'm good. You know what I'm saying? I'm really good. Like that's the one I need to get out. That's the one I need to get out my system. So let's work on some different stuff. So we've been working. Uh, I'm about to release the Black Joker EP, and I'm gonna talk about that. Working in Christian hip hop, working in Christian music in general, and it's really not. I don't want to call it Christian. This is gospel, really. Working in Christian hip hop is you have to put yourself in that box. And what I'm starting to say is there is no box. God doesn't deal in boxes. He deals in circular motions. You know what I'm saying? All the planets are circles. The sun is a circle. So he doesn't deal with boxes. So all those records that, you know, I refuse to put myself in that box. You know what I'm saying? So the Black Joker EP is King. Sounds like King. And it takes a lot of risk. And what I'm doing now is and this is the hook. This is really what I want the video to be about. I was listening to Pastor Mike tonight, and it blessed me. Something he said. He said, people want you to do the normal, like they wanted him to do worship music, right? And he was like, "Yo, like, nah, that's not what God told me to do." He's like, "Yo, like, that's not what we got right now." He's like, the music that we're doing is like what they gotta understand. We're in the army of the Lord, and there's different branches. You got the air strike. That thing blessed me. I said, "Ooh, that's dope." You got the air. You got people on the ground. You got the Navy. You got the you know what I'm saying. You got all these branches. You know, you got the Air Force. You got the Navy. You got the Army, the Marines. You got the branches of the army of the Lord, and they all have different. You know, they all have different assignments. They all have different assignments. They all have different objectives. And they all have their own way of doing the agenda. You talk to an army, they say, hey, our way is the best way. You talk to an Air Force, they be like, hey, we the best way. You talk to a Marine, they be like, yo, y'all already know. Real men are Marine. You know, woo-ha. You know what I'm saying? They do all that stuff. But really, they're all effective working together to provide the armed forces for our country. And that's how we are when we work in the army of the Lord. We're working together as different branches of the military. And your branch may be praise and worship. Your branch may be traditional, quartet, all those different things. But it's not right for me to say, hey, my way is the right way and your way is the wrong way. And that thing blessed me when he broke it down like that. I said, oh, okay. So he's like, man, we're not gonna do praise and worship. Everybody else, let them do that. We're gonna do our own thing. And that was kind of liberating in him saying that. And I always felt like that when I said it. Like, don't expect me to do something that's already been done. Or if I do it, it's gonna have that KINgjo spin to it. That's what I love. The biggest compliment people tell me when they heard Harley Quinn, the biggest compliment people say, it sounded like you. I'm like, thank you. That's a compliment to me. You know what I'm saying? If you like me or don't like me, and people like, hey man, it sounded like you. I really like playing tracks for people and have people say, I be like, well, who that sound like? I don't know nobody. Sound like, yeah, that's what I was going for. I don't want it to sound like anybody else but King, right? When you hear the Black Joker EP, I'm telling y'all now, what we're doing is I'm stepping back out in faith. We're coming back out and we're investing. Again, reinvesting in it because we want everything to be done at excellence. We're not looking to compete with anything. We just want to do it at excellence and grind. So if you work with me, I'm trying to have the top and everything. I'm trying to have the top equipment, top mics, top converters, top audio interface, top production. You know what I'm saying? Want the beats to hit, want everything to be the top of the line. So when we work and you hear it, it sounds super duper professional. We're putting the best thing that I could do for it to make it out. And I believe that at the time as now, the sound, the KINgjo sound, the Jehovah, the creme de la creme sound, I think is needed for a time like now because everybody's kind of sounding the same. So when you hear this Black Joker EP, if you're looking for it to sound like Little Baby, if you're looking for it to sound like if you're looking for this joint to sound like Lil Durk, or if you're looking for it to sound like Kurt Franklin, if you're looking for it to sound like Pastor Mike or anybody else, or to sound like what you hear on the radio, it's not that. It's not that. But what it is art and creation from my heart. It's something that's going to bless the masses. If you pay attention to what I'm talking about and you listen to what I'm talking about, you'll understand the story arc, what's going on. Like a lot of people's like when I did Harley Quinn, it's like, oh man, you cheated on your wife? You know, no, that's not what it's talking about. It's not talking about that at all. What it is talking about cheating, but it's talking about cheating more on God, cheating more on with other experiences. You know what I'm saying? It's talking about cheating as in cheating with the industry. The way the industry flirts with us as Christian producers and Christian musicians. And let me say something to these prophets. Y'all never go through that. Y'all get some flirtation in some different areas. But when you're talking about the top in your field, the top in your industry, and when the top in your industry is the top in the industry in the field that you work in is secular, you know, and you get success, the success is often in your field of work. It's often dealt by how the industry gives you kudos, how on sales and different things like that. Y'all never been through that. Y'all do a lot of talk about musicians and producers and different stuff like that, and y'all never been through it. Y'all never been through it. Y'all don't know anything. Y'all don't know any amount of work, the amount of work that we do when we play these instruments, when we make these songs, when we produce this stuff, when we put it out there, the amount of scrutiny we go through. Well, I'm a pastor, I go through scrutiny too. Oh man, we give you double honor normally. Some of y'all get up there and get them weak sermons that y'all been preaching for the last 5 years based on the book you wrote 20 years ago. You know what I'm saying? And we still give you double honor. But when the industry is coming at us and we get dissed, we get fussed at, we get told off, we get we get all that. And then y'all, the musician has an attitude. Yeah, you've been disrespectful. I'm a grown man. And I respect you. And the only reason I'm standing here and listening to you is because I respect you as a minister. I respect you as an elder, and I respect you as a pastor. But understand this. If you was outside of this, we'd probably be out here throwing hands. If we was outside of the Ark of the Covenant, if you wasn't my pastor, you wouldn't talk to me like that. You wouldn't feel entitled to talk to musicians like that. Y'all have to get a sermon every week? Yeah, cool. Y'all might have to go to the nursing home and see a couple of people. Cool. It's not easy being a pastor, but it's not easy being a musician either. We gotta learn songs. And we gotta learn it and hit it like that. Because if we hit a wrong note, and we hit a wrong note, Bob must need to do my own preacher chord. If we hit a wrong note, y'all looking at us crazy. So come on, man. And y'all don't, and it is too. When we really super talented in what we do, we get more. There's no transition. When we're super talented in what we do in music production, we get more temptation from the world, because the world is not being this. The world comes to you and say, "Hey, we got this money. We'll pay you. What's your fee?" All right, cool. We got this money. We'll pay you. Hey, man, we'll ride you around. We do all those things and won't have as much scrutiny as we got in the church. Hey, y'all paying us a couple of dollars a Sunday. You get what I'm saying? Even if we get scrutiny from them, it kind of works because we get $100,000 a year from them. We get 2.5 million. We got a chance to go be millionaires. Change the direction of our whole family. That's what Harley Quinn is about. Harley Quinn is about the industry comes and saying, "You're talented. Let's work." Right? They say, think about it. Yes, I'm saved, chosen, and I stay in the text. Right? She likes the way I move. She's saying, "Leave that life alone. Come lay in bed with me." That's the industry. That's what the enemy does. If you're really talented at the piano, if you're really talented at production, if you're really talented at the drums, if you're really talented at artists, the industry is sitting there. "Hey, I like the way you move. Go, shorty. It's your birthday." Why? It's a celebration. When the enemy came to Jesus, what did he say? "Hey, I give you artists. I give you a big old party. It's a celebration. It's your birthday. You'll be the man." That's the temptation. Listen to me now. And it might be, some people say it's because of my style. But shoot, I know quartet guys that are sitting here that play quartet music that don't do urban gospel that can get jobs in the industry. That's what Harley Quinn is about. It's about flirting with the industry. I look around and see my clothes is on the ground. "Lord, what have I done? I left you." It's almost like the children of Israel. The Bible said they were the whores. They played the whores. Their clothes were on the ground. They would left God to go to other gods. She liked the way I move. She liked the move that's in my life. That's what happens to a lot of musicians. When that anointing comes on your life, guess what happens? The industry calls you. When David got anointed, guess what happened? The king called him. Hey man, come sit with me and play for me. Think about that. When David was anointed, they was in the field learning his craft, singing songs. You know what I'm saying? David got anointed to be king. You know what I'm saying? That's how you know. Hey, hey man, come play with me. Hey, go get David. He's talented. He's anointed too. He has favor of the Lord. Y'all, why y'all? Ooh, why y'all think the enemy does? Why don't y'all think the enemy? Why would y'all think that the enemy doesn't like the favor of the Lord? Why y'all think that? You don't think that when we're anointed and have the favor of God on our life, that Satan wants to feel that again? Boy, I'm talking crazy right now. Let's go. Let's keep going. But this is what I'm trying to tell y'all. So I'm saying this sound, this new sound, the sound that we're putting out, it's gonna be great. I got some new records coming out. I got some. We got the Black Joker EP coming out. We got the. I can't. I'm gonna talk about it. I should talk about it. Tonight I heard about the new John Paul album dropping. I might drop the Big album. I don't know. The next Gen album is waiting in the waits. You know, it's waiting. It's waiting. It could be released at any time. I got records. The next gen, I got remixes for the next gen that could be released. But it's all God, man, and this is what it is. We're not scared. I'm not scared. I'm back on my KINgjo. And when I say I'm back on my KINgjo, that means I'm back having faith and trusting and honoring God that the things that He said He was going to do, He's going to come through and do it. Those times that are anointed, it was prophesied that the things that we're supposed to do on the scale that we're supposed to do it, now it's the time for us to go and do it. And I wanted to make this video tonight as I like to call the shots. Like, the crazy thing for me, like, I want to be Elijah, right? Like, a lot of people like moving silence, and cool like that. But when I study, one of my favorite characters in the Bible is Elijah. And what I liked about Elijah was Elijah would call the shots. You know what I'm saying? He would call the shots. God told him, say, man, they're going to tell him it's not going to rain. Hey, man, it's not going to rain. So it's still in the rain. You know what I'm saying? You know, like Elijah called the shots. Well, let's have a competition. Let's see who's better. Your God or my God? They started the competition. Elijah's like picking at him, like, yo, maybe he can't hear you. Is he asleep? He called the shots. He would call the shots. You know, if you really think about it, the cast that are the most powerful figures in the Bible called their shots. Jesus would tell him from the get-go, hey man, listen, I'm gonna die 3 days, bring my body back up. You know, this is what's gonna happen. He called the shot. He called it. He wasn't moving around. He was kind of moving in something. They told him not to tell nobody, but they were gonna tell the people anyway. It's like, well, how you know they told people again? Because the Pharisees sit up there and said, hey, the Pharisees said, hey, we got to put guards around his tomb because the disciples, they said that he's going to tear his body down and build it back up in 3 days, right? You know, he called a shot. That move around the silent stuff, that's when you're doing illegal stuff. That's the word. That's moving silence. And I do agree, not sharing your being protective on what God told you to do. And you really have to check people. Like, I have to check people. Like, I literally have to check people. I had to pull a Peter and tell people, get behind me, Satan. I should have did it last Saturday. I had an instance last Saturday. I should have told somebody, get behind me, Satan. Because it really wasn't there, it was Satan. But I should check people. You got to be able to check people. Like, when Jesus was telling them, like, what's going to happen, it's like, nah, that ain't going to happen. It ain't going to happen like that. And then they want to, I'm like, man, hush. God ain't tell you. I'm telling you what God told me is going to happen. This is going to happen. Get thee behind me, Satan. But it rebuked him. It ain't going to happen, Lord. It ain't going to happen like that. It's not like, man, I done told you what's going to happen. I'm calling my shot. What makes Babe Ruth special? Right? That's the myth of Babe Ruth. He called the shot. What made Muhammad Ali stand out? At 70, he's going to heaven. He called the shot. People that scared to call their shot, they don't have the talent to call their shot. The people that got talent, they call the shot. What did Michael Jordan do in Cleveland? Michael Jordan went there and told us, hey man, give me the ball. I got this. He called the shot. He called the shot. Give me the ball, get out of the way. I got this. When you got the talent to back it up, call your shot. The cats that don't have talent, those are the ones that be like, you might want to move in silence. You know what I'm saying? Because hey, you might want to move in silence. You got talent, back it up, call your shot. Don't be scared. This is what's gonna happen. Because what? How can you do positive affirmation that you don't call your shot? You just think it, you write it down, but then you speak it also. You know what I'm saying? You speak those things. You know, because you know now the people in the Bible be like, well, that's not what it means. It doesn't mean speak. It doesn't mean that God is going to do anything that He says. Who's that? They say about God. It's like I speak those things though as not as though they were. It's like that's not what it means. Gotta have proper context, proper exegesis of the scripture. I was like, nigga, what? There's proper context is subjective. You do know that, right? Context is subjective. Proper context definitely means it's subjective. Who's to say what's proper, what's not proper? Yeah, that's basic academia. Gotta have proper context. I don't need. Let me tell you what really happened. I can read. That only goes for that instance. How do you know that? Because how do you know that, bro? Like, how do you know that only goes for that instance? That's only for that instance in the Bible. How do you know that? Did God tell you that? Well, that's the only way. Did God say that's only for the instance? Gotta have proper context. Call your. Don't be scared. Don't be scared to step out on faith. If God said it's gonna happen, it's gonna happen. Call your shot. Call your shot, man. I'm calling my shot. I'm telling y'all what's gonna happen. I'm telling you, this music, Jehovian, creme de la creme, is different. It's not gonna sound like nobody else. Sounds like King. If you work with me, you gonna get music. Not gonna sound like anybody else. It's gonna probably sound like King. You saying? It's gonna sound like what we concoct together. Right? It's not gonna sound like anybody else. Trust what God put. This is what this video is about. I'm telling you on Friday night at 1 o'clock in the morning, 12:54 a.m. This is what it's gonna be. That's what it's gonna be. It's gonna be great. It's gonna be big. Shout out Michael, Pastor Michael. It's gonna be big. It's winning season. And if you're not with it, don't listen. If you're not with me, just hush. I'm gonna start telling a lot of you guys, hey man, like, if you're not really with me, you ain't believe that I'm about to do what I'm about to do, hey man, you might need to create routes. You might need to go. I can't handle it around me. If you're not messing with me, just go. Just go. Some of y'all I'm gonna block anyway. I've been taking notes on who I'm blocking out. This has been the grace of God. I got about 150 people I want to block. I got like, hey, when I say the pettiness in me want to block like 150, maybe 200 people, I got like 200 people I want to block. And some of them be like, yo, dang, King, block me. I got like 200 of y'all. I just want to, hey man, y'all gotta go. Because you ain't doing nothing but trying to, either you trying to hate on my character, who I am, or stop what is doing, or you jealous, or you don't understand what's going on. Right? And if that's the case, I need you gone. About 250 of y'all. About 250. I need to block like 250. I got like 250 people. I'm petting them up. When I see it, oh, I'm petty. But the Lord be like, King, I saved you from pettiness. I say for me, I still want to block. I want that. I want that album going to block you. If you ain't on the team, you ain't on the team. I praise God for each of you guys, man. I've been in there for an hour. Now I'm at an hour and a half. Good jeez. Praise God for energy. I love each and every one of you guys. Thank God for sitting with me. This is a special midnight edition of a KINgjo show. New stuff coming, new music coming. Uh, we're gonna actually start. I'm really excited about what God is about to do. De jour, Jehovian, Creme de la Creme, King David Productions, some of the things. I'm just excited that God's gonna make a way. I'm just excited He's gonna make a way. So so you guys, y'all, love you guys much. Y'all just take it easy. And if you support. Hey, I might put I think about putting a GoFundMe down. If you believe in what we're gonna do, I'm gonna put. I'm gonna do a GoFundMe. You just put a cash app out, and you want to donate to what I have going on, the things that we're trying to do, some of the moves that we're trying to make. I had a cash app, give you a chance, man. If it's $1, $2, $5, $10, whatever, and you just want to give a love, show love, and believe, say, hey, we believe in you. That will help us with a lot of the things that we're trying to do. And understand this, with what I'm trying to do with Jehovian, the Jor, and different stuff like that, does give back to the community and the people in the community and things of that nature, right? And we're doing it more in the arts. It's plenty of guys right now that's doing it in sports. Uh, but in the arts, actually showing you how to run software. That's the big thing. AI, how to utilize AI, and to make profit from AI. That's a big, huge thing. You know what I'm saying? Even tonight, I was looking at Splice. Splice has a new beta AI. I'm about to try it out once I get off this live. I'm gonna try out Splice AI once I get off this live just to see some things that's going on. It's supposed to help you start creating music. I'm gonna go check it out as soon as I get off of this. Photoshop tomorrow. Let's do that tomorrow. Tomorrow that'll be the 30-day create tomorrow. We're gonna walk you through. I'm gonna try to see what the Splice AI is about. If it's worth covering or anything, we'll cover that. And then tomorrow we'll also get into the Photoshop AI, which is everybody's been talking about that. Anybody that's been doing photos, videos, or whatever, even if you've been doing AI, Midjourney, different stuff like that, Dalio, the new Photoshop is kind of everybody like, yo, this is what we've been waiting on. The new Photoshop thing is crazy good, crazy. Literally, dude, bald headed, you can put hair on him, it looks real. You know what I'm saying? Literally, you can have a shot and portrait and expand it where it's in landscape and it shows the entire landscape. It is phenomenal. Some of the things I just downloaded it tonight. I'm gonna try it out tonight. We're gonna also try out the AI from Splice tonight. And we'll probably make some videos for 30-day create tomorrow, which will be day number 9. Day number 9 tomorrow. 30-day create every day. Thank you for this 30-day create special tonight. I love you guys. We'll see y'all real soon. Jehovian, new music coming. New music coming from KINgjo. New music coming from John Paul. Man, a lot of people coming out with new music. Man, let's share. I put on a post of mine where I want you guys to share links. Did nobody share? Y'all have nobody that you know personally that you want to share and music and share links with? Go check it out. Go check it out. Right? Watch this video. You'll learn a lot about me, how I think, what happened in the history, my history in music, where we're going, what's the plan for the future. Plan for the future is to actually do a next gen too. I got some young cats out there that's looking. I'm looking for some young rappers, 18 to 24, that want to work. I actually got a track. I want you guys to jump on. I actually had I want to say it's a vision of a track of somebody jumping on this track. It's called Budget, and the track is crazy. Crazy. It's crazy. They got that 808 that you guys love, but it's different. It's crazy. So we're looking for the next gen artists to re-up that next gen thing. You know what I'm saying? And with you guys' help and financial support, with the Jor, with Jehovah in mind, the song, go get the song now. Harley Quinn. Now that you guys know what it's about, it is on iTunes, it's on Apple Music. Go purchase it. I'd rather you purchase it on iTunes than stream it on Apple Music. If you're gonna stream it, go to YouTube and stream it on YouTube. I think we like at 200 views or something. Not too bad. But go stream it on YouTube. I already streamed on YouTube to Apple Music. But if you got Apple Music or Spotify, that's fine. Go stream it on Apple Music and Spotify. That's cool. It helps us. It helps our numbers. So if you don't want to buy it, if you don't want to spend the 99 cents on it, which I really would rather you spend 99 cents to go get the sheet. 99 cents. If you love me, you should have been did it. Why haven't you gone and bought the Harley Quinn record? You say you love me and you don't support. You can't give me 99. You can't give me $1. You can't spend $1 with me. You ain't bought it. You say you love me. If you my family, you ain't bought the Harley Quinn. What are you doing? It's $1. It's 99 cents. Jesus, it's 99 cents. You can't even get. You can't even get a. You can barely get a drink now. You can't get a drink for 99 cents. You gotta pay like 106 with tax, 110, 113. 99 cents. Buy the record. It helps me live. It helps me be more creative and buy more stuff. Y'all see all this equipment in here? It helped me get better. 99 cents. God. Spend the 99 cents. Go get the record. Harley Quinn. If you're not going to put it in rotation, just spend 99 cents. It helps. If you're on YouTube, go to my YouTube page, King Jordan. Subscribe. It helps. Watch the video. If you listen to Harley Quinn, put it on rotate, turn your volume down, and just let it spin over and over again. It helps. It helps. I'll just give y'all some clicks. It's going to help you. Just go listen to the song. Put it in rotation. Try to catch a fly like Mr. Miyagi. Put it in rotation. Just let it spin. Turn your volume down. Turn your volume down. Guess what? Long as you got your sound up, your alarm will still play loudly. So if you use your phone as an alarm, you still can use it as an alarm. You just got your volume turned down for the music playing. Put it on rotation. If you're on Apple Music, hit the little circle of things that say 1, and it just loop. If you're on Spotify, put a little circle. It has 1. It's just loop. If you're on Amazon, put a little circle and just let it loop all night and just play. You ain't even gotta listen to it. It helps. Y'all wondering why a lot of people do, you know what I'm saying? Because a lot of us won't spin back into our own. I couldn't get y'all to post a clip. Your kid raps, right? Instead of hating on him and saying, oh, that boy trying to rap. Why don't you get out and do like my mom did? My mom invested. Hey, I see you doing music. All right, I got you. That was love. I don't know why he rapping. He thinks he a rapper. He thinks, your girl gonna do cosmetology. She's doing fingernails. But you can make a job. Come on, stop it. Support the little young brother. Because what? He mess around and hit. Or she mess around and hit. Guess what? You out the hood and you asking them, they'll job at you now. Like, be like, listen, man, you help me. I'm out here making these music. You ain't doing nothing for me. Guess who's gonna benefit? You are. If your mate, if your husband and wife are doing music, support. You should be the main cheerleader. Every song they come out, you should share it 50, 11 times on your page. You should go buy it. When you go to bed tonight, are you going to turn that song on, put it on repeat, and then turn the volume on? Why? Because if they ever make it and it becomes a hit, guess what happens? You benefit from that. Y'all see how dumb people are sometimes? Hey, why we ain't got nothing? Because you don't help. Why we struggling? Because you don't support. You been trying to do music for years. Yeah, but you ain't supported it. You ain't shared it. You ain't liked it. You don't play it. You know what I'm saying? If you don't know the words to your parent, if you don't know the words to your mate's song, that's a problem. That's a problem. If you ain't listen to it and try to tell somebody to listen to your music, your your husband and wife's music, that's a problem. If they going out to these concerts and you ain't at the table trying to sell merch, that's a problem. Think about all the people that's successful in music right now, right? Think about Kurt Franklin, you know Tammy. DJ Hatton, you know the twerker. That's hilarious. Boy, that's funny to me. That's he had to be the night he got the twerker. That's hilarious. Right? You know, you pretty much know their mates. You know what I'm saying? The ones that's really doing it. Now you got somebody like John P. that got divorced. Well, we do at least. You know what I'm saying? I'm telling you, especially dudes, any dudes that's successful in music, they got women that's supporting them. That's why I thank all the women that support me. All the women that support me, I thank y'all. I thank y'all. Miss Robin, I thank you. I thank you, Miss Robin. I thank you, Miss Robin. Christy, I thank you. Erica, I thank you. I thank you guys. Angel, I thank you. I appreciate every last one of you guys. Every last one of them. I appreciate it. Because guess what? In order to make it, I know the ladies gonna be like, yo, y'all didn't listen to him, he nice. When I ain't gonna say nothing about that. Somebody wanted to do some music done, and when Christy went and told us, hey, try KINgjo, that meant a lot to me. And I knew the person was gonna do it, which is shady. I ain't gonna talk about it right now, but one day I'm gonna tell you why I think that joint is mad shady though. But and I'm talking about that shady. I should speak on it, but I ain't gonna speak on it. She didn't even reply, which I think is mad shady. I ain't gonna speak on it though. But at the end of the day, the fact that someone was like, yo, check him out, he's dope. That's love. The fact that my wife goes out and get people to come do photography, that's love. You know what I'm saying? That's love. Y'all gotta understand that. It don't matter island. If I make it, guess who's if the Black Joker blows and becomes a multi-platinum album, right? Guess who's benefits from that? First, my family. I should say when. My family benefits first. So if you got a mate, a son, a daughter, a husband, a wife, a cousin, or something like that that's doing music, and you think they got some talent, go support them. I'm talking about share their joints. Y'all need to check out my cousin. They be sharing, other people love that sharing. Kiara Sheeran and Beyonce, you share your loved one. You share your loved one. You share, hey, put the link under their link. Hey, y'all make sure y'all go check out him. He's tight. Yeah, what's the music? It's Black Music Month, right? Black Music Month, and people are sharing like, hey, go listen to what was that? It's top 80s and 90s songs. And I looked under there and I saw people sharing like, hey, go check out this record though. This guy's nice. Someone said, check out my record. It's nice, right? So if they put out music, hey, go check out KINgjo, man. He dope. If I support your business, you should support me. I'm up tonight, boy. I'm wide awake. I'm wide awake tonight. I'm wide awake. I'm wide awake. I'm wide awake. Because guess what? The things you supporting the people, the businesses in your community gives back to the community. If I had to leave Dublin and go to Atlanta to make it, and Atlanta shows me more love, who am I going to show love to? Everybody got mad at Jesus. Jesus is like he's from Atlanta. They're like, you from Macon. What about McCray? They're like, nigga, y'all didn't even support me in McCray. Y'all wouldn't even spend my record. Y'all said I was whack. When they called me Little J, y'all wasn't listening to me. I got to Atlanta, they start calling me Jeezy. Well, y'all don't get this. This that real talk right here. This that love you talk. I'm gonna give you that love talk now. Love talk. So when we come back, And when it pop off, I'm gonna play this video back from y'all and say, I told you. I told you. I told you to support me now. I told you. I told you to support me. King, we want you to come and we want you to perform at our church. Yeah, man, that'd be 10,000. Wait a minute, King, what? That'd be 10,000. What? Well, but wait a minute now, but you from Dublin. Listen, man, when I was in Dublin, you never invited me to come perform at your church. When I was in when I was in town, you never asked me to come preach at your church. Why you want a discount? Why you want a discount? You know what I'm saying? Like you never support. I never seen you share one of my records. We want you to break your group down, and we want your choir and your group and your band. Everybody come out. Yeah, that'd be 15. Huh? That's 15,000. Wait a minute. What about love for the home? Yeah, I decide what events I'm gonna show love for the home at, but this ain't one of them. That's gonna be 15. But King, we grew up. Yeah, we did. We did. But you never shared my stuff. You never supported what I was doing. You laughed when other people made jokes about me. You shared that. Oh yeah, I got a whole list on that. You shared that. You shared when everybody else is, when people was trying to trade me to the white delegation. You thought that was funny. You shared that. And you laughed on that. Oh, bro. Trust. Yeah, that's definitely gonna be 20,000. Added up 5 to the 15. We need you to come and speak at the city. Yeah, that'd be 7,000. Huh? Yeah. Matter of fact, holla at so and so. That's my that's my booking manager. You know what I'm saying? Holla at my manager. Yo, oh yeah, you remember me? Yeah, girl. Hug. How you been? How the family doing? Yeah, we got such and such going on. We want you to come. Hey, holla at my manager right there. Hey, look out for her. Yo, what up, King? What's up? Yo, man, what's good? What's good, man? We used to play. Man, we having this thing, man. We want you to come and we want you to come down and bring your artists. They hitting the charts right now. We want you to bring your artists. Okay, cool. Oh man, that's love, man. That's cool. Listen, man, holla at my manager right now. Oh, he think he big time now. He done changed. I have not changed. I treated you like you treated me when I was doing what I was doing. You wasn't treating me like, yo, that's dude. Now let's flip it. Miss Robin called. Hey King, we got a benefit concert at the church. We really need you to come down and see what we can do. You know what I'm saying? Then I'm gonna be like, Miss Robin, okay, cool. Listen, this is what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna tell my manager to give you this fee, and we'll be there. You know what? Matter of fact, don't even worry about it. Just let me sell my merch there, and that I bring the whole band, and we do that out of my pocket. Praise the Lord, girl. All that stuff. Don't worry, Christy. Oh, I'm King. I'm having a fall jam, man, and we need an artist to come down. We need some of your artists to come down. If I can come. Listen, let me holler at so and so. You know what I'm saying? I just produced a record for so and so. Let me holler at them and see if I can get them down. Even if I have to pay someone to get them down, I'm gonna try to help you out. See how that work? See how that work? I'm supposed to pray for you guys that I had to reread that description. Pray for those who pray for those who hate you and mistreat you. Mistreat you, gotta pray for you. I'm supposed to pray for you guys. I was like, dang Lord, I gotta pray for them? I'm supposed to pray for you guys. But hey, that's about it. That's about it. I pay attention. Man, listen, man. I pay attention. I've been on social media enough that I know when my name's attached to something, I want to see. I'm not even looking to see who shared it, right? I want to see the responses. I want to see who I want to. I want to see. I know who initially posted, but I'm looking at who liked it, who laughed, who shared it, who all that, and I'm making mental notes and I'm writing them down. I'm like, okay, yeah, but need something. Do like my teacher did me. If you can have a 69.5555555, I'm gonna fail you. I'm gonna fail you. And in my mind, I'm like, if they ever need a little song, they ever need something. Every time I was like, hey, how you doing? I'm good. I'm gonna be very cordial. Keep it moving. Very cordial. Keep it moving. What we need, yeah. Mm-hmm. Appreciate you, y'all, man. I love you guys. This is life. This is how we gotta do. Like, it gotta balance. You gotta be balanced. You gotta want to balance. It's like people want to hate you, they be like you're a Christian. They want to do something to offend you, and they be like you're a Christian, and you're supposed to still be cool with them. Huh? Really? Really? That's what we doing? I'm always gonna show love. I'm always gonna be cordial and show love to you. I'm always gonna cordial and show love to you. That's what the Bible tells me to do. It says pray for them. You know what I'm saying? Love them. Show love. I'm gonna go love, but it's gonna be limits to that thing. You said it's gonna, unless the Lord say otherwise. We're gonna be obedient to what He says. If He says go in, can't do it for free, and it's like, all right, cool. We're gonna be obedient. We're gonna listen. But hey, we're gonna show love. We're gonna let them. And even if He say that, I'm gonna remind them, be like, remember, Lord, when they did this. Remember, you know what I'm saying? Remember they said this. You remember that? Let's put a limit. Let's cap it, Jesus. Let's cap it. Let's cap that thing. Man, I love y'all. I'm out of here, man. Thank y'all for those who stay with me all night. I appreciate y'all. Probably Miss Robin, probably my wife, probably different ones, man. To show love to stick up here with your boy, listen to your boy talk tonight. Listen, man, this is gonna be a great. I want to take some time. I might even delete this video once I get done with it. But I want to take this time to tell y'all, man, the new stuff that's going on, what's going on with me, what's my thought process, where I'm at. We're making the right division, making it plain. What I plan to do with everything. It's time now. Like, we prepped. It's time now to go forth. You know what I'm saying? Now it's time to we're still reinvesting, and we need each one of you guys that can invest and go up with me. We're gonna go hard. It's gonna be love. A lot of stuff you really come out. I want you guys to support it. I want you guys to support it. Support it like I said something stupid. Cause y'all be all up on me if I say something controversial, stupid. Y'all be ready to jump on it, comment and everything. I need y'all to support the positive stuff and the stuff that I'm doing creatively. I need y'all to support that just as hard as y'all support if I say something that you don't agree with. If we do that, we'll be all right. All right, we do that, we'll be fair. That's fair, right? That's fair. Okay, that's fair. That's right. Let's keep it fair, man. I love you guys. Y'all be good. Y'all be blessed. I'll holler at you guys soon. Peace.